Welcome to Book Club Preview. I'm Michael, and today we're looking at What If? Weird and Worrying Questions, Part 4. Now, there's three different questions here, and the first two are pretty fast. What if there was a volcano about ready to erupt? If we put a bomb in the volcano and exploded it, would that stop the eruption? And he doesn't even answer this question. He just draws a picture of a volcano having like a super eruption and saying, why did we think of this? So I'm guessing the answer is no. The next question is there sound in space? My friend said there is sound in space, but there's not sound in space, right? And he just has a little graphic of some little space guy trying to speak in space and having no words in his little bubble. The third question he actually spends a lot of time on, and this is about human calculations versus computer calculations. And let me just read this question for you because it's pretty long. So how much computing power could we achieve if the entire world population stopped whatever they were doing right now and started doing calculations? How would it compare to a modern day computer or a smartphone? And now, man, we really get into it. He says, okay, look, first of all, if we have computers in the human brain, it's not really a fair comparison. It's like comparing an apple to an orange. Very different fruits, very different things. But okay, let's do it. First of all, one thing you got to remember is that computers are really good at calculating things we program them to calculate. But if we say, for example, and he shows a picture here, says if a picture has to figure out what happened in this picture, the computer's never going to figure it out. But I can send this picture to my mom, and in 10 seconds, she can reply to me with the correct answer. And I love the different answers that he gives. Okay, this kid was playing with a lassoed a vase, pulled it over, it broke, and the cat's like smelling the vase. Okay, human can look at that, boom, instantly figure it out. A computer looks at that and has no idea what happened. That's partly because of programming. But it's like, oh, did the cat knock over the vase? Did the cat jump out of the vase? Did the boy and the cat find a snake and wrestle it and tie a knot in the snake? Like all these crazy things. These are stuff a computer would wonder and think about. But we can understand that very quickly. So if we just look at like processing power, okay, if a human has to do one task or one calculation compared to a computer, it takes the average human about 1 minute and 30 seconds to do one calculation. But a computer can do that one calculation in 1 minute 70 times. Like that's like a smartphone, I think. A modern computer that's actually going to like play video games or something can do that calculation 1,500 times. So that looks pretty bad for humans. In fact, all of humanity, their brain power combined together, was overcome by one processor in 1994, the Intel Pentium chip. Okay, well, what if you took all computer processors and all human brain power? When did those processors overpower all the humans? Well, that happened in about 1977. There were enough, and he just looks at these transistors, okay, these parts in these chips that do the calculations. So there were enough transistors in 1977 to be greater than the power of all of humanity. Okay, well, what about if we look at the brain? Okay, let's compare things a little bit different. Okay, calculations, we're not really good at that. But what if we looked at how many transistor equivalents are in a brain? Okay. Well, a brain has about, well, I don't know what it is here. There was a Japanese computer, and they said, oh, okay, one human brain has about 10 to the 15th power. That's when you, that's how we say in English, 10, we say to the 15th power. Okay, that's the small 15 above the 10. That means there's 15 zeros coming out here behind this 10. So 10 to the 15th power. There's that many transistors in one human brain. So erase all this. In 1988, one brain was equal to all of the computers in the world. Okay? Ooh, this is confusing stuff. He continues on. Okay, comparing a brain and a computer, the transistors, man, that's not really fair, right? Computers can solve one question really easily. Human brains have a bunch of things going on. Human brains can recognize things a lot, and computers can't really figure that out. So he says, what if we combined these results, okay? And he just talks about, has some really weird logic, and he says, okay, if we look at the way that computers and humans are different in calculating, and the way humans and computers are different in solving problems, and we kind of find the middle ground there, that would say that humans can solve about 30,000 problems a second or a minute there. I can't remember which one number that is. So if that's the case, in 2004, computers surpassed humans' ability to calculate things. And so that's a little bit worrying. So he says, hey, look, let's think about ants, okay? Ants have about, let's see, how many computing problems here in ants? There's about 250,000 neurons in ants. So in about 2014, if you combined all of the computing power of ants together, humans surpassed ants in 2004. But look, ants aren't worried about humans taking over the world. And honestly, if you think about humans or computers or ants in the next million years, which one will be alive? I'm going to bet on ants. So don't worry about computers, is the conclusion. That leaves us with our vocabulary. So the first one is thermobaric, which is dealing with heat, dealing with temperature. So if there was like a fire bomb or heat bomb, explosive bomb, or nuclear bomb. Benchmark, this is like average or measuring mark. You have to have some kind of mark to measure against to decide progress, okay, whatever that looks like. In the old days, they would actually like be building a wall or something, and they would have like a height of 5 feet, and they'd make a mark. From that mark, they could see this is 5 feet, and they would call that their benchmark. So they would cut wood, maybe, to this length. And that's kind of where we get this idea. But nowadays, a benchmark is also a test for a computer to see how fast it is. So if we're comparing computers and brains, we need a benchmark. Rigorous. Rigorous is like tough, difficult, hard. And he does some weird logic there with trying to compare the computer and the human brain and find an average. And so he had some rough or rigorous logic. But he says, don't worry. And then lastly, our discussion question. Do you think computers or robots, whatever you want to say, do you think they will take over the world? And of course, please make your own discussion question. That is all the time that we have for today. But thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Book Club Preview. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.